Happy holiday, friend or holidays, friends, and welcome to the CP Sports. As always, I'm your host, Chris, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mike, remotely this time.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on?
How's it going, Mike? You had quite the night. I saw seeing Victor almost up close, but we'll get to that as we get into the Emirates Cup. Tuesday saw the second annual NBA Emirates Cup Finals, and the Cup MVP rightfully went to 2021 Finals MVP and two-time league MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis put up 26 points with 19 rebounds and 10 assists in his triple-double performance as the dominant Bucks defense held OKC to a season low 81 points, including a low of 31 points in the second half.
I saw that game, dude. It wasn't that competitive when you think about it. The Bucks had their number. They were just too big on the inside. Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Giannis. They were just having their way with everyone in the paint. OKC's good, but they're just not big. And then I think they exploited that. It was good coaching by Doc Rivers, surprisingly. I mean,
That's messed up.
Dame did his thing. Giannis had support, and I don't even think Middleton played that game, but they were able to do bully ball, and they just tore them up in the second half. I think reducing Oklahoma City to only 31 points in the whole second half, something like that. So hats off to Giannis. He got more hardware in his resume, his accolades. I don't think he has much else to do now. He did it all, right?
Pretty much. But what was the cool thing is Darvin Ham and Taurean Prince acquired their second cup win after spending last season with LA. Prince stated after the game, quote, "I definitely think we made a statement defensively," end quote, which they did. I mean, Milwaukee's defense had a season best of points allowed, 3-point percentage at 33.7, and the field goal percentage was at 15.6. As the Bucks soaked in their victory, though, they did not soak in champagne. Giannis, who does not drink, said that he drank a little bit when they won the NBA championship, and it gave him a quote-unquote full body cramp. As the boxes of champagne sat untouched, the Bucks looked to remain focused after bouncing back from a 2-8 start at the beginning of the season. Giannis said it best: they have to stay humble and keep improving. He also promised they'd make it back to the big stage, saying, quote, "What a great feeling. I'll see you guys again, I promise," end quote, in which we could only assume he was talking about the NBA championship. How do you feel about these claims as Milwaukee starts to turn it up?
You can't count them out. They're former champs. They have veterans on the team to help the younger players develop faster. Portis, Lopez, they've been playing forever with each other, adding new pieces for the bench because Dame and Giannis can't play the whole game. So yeah. I thought last year was a setback, especially when they lost Holiday and a couple of role players. But I think they're finally getting it together. They're meshing a whole lot better. They're dangerous. I think they might be one of the only teams that can have a chance at dethroning the Celtics. And if they don't do that, I don't really think no one else can beat the Celtics. And I really don't want them to be back in the finals, but it looks like that may be the road we're going down. It's going to be Celtics and Bucks, and no one else from the East is going to be even close.
I mean, that sounds about right with the way they played, and if Giannis keeps on improving. The whole thing has just been kind of lackluster in the beginning. A lot of people were like, well, who is this Bucks team? They're not who they looked like last year. And right. Obviously they bounced back. They're trying to prove everybody wrong. I can see Giannis back in the championship, but like you said, it's going to be hard to beat that Celtics team. Continuing forward, though, we have the All-Star game. It comes up in February. And as you know, the Cup was created to help the game be a little more exciting and competitive at a time where the NBA ratings are at a low. And well, we now have more changes. The idea of a competitive All Star event has been floated around by Commissioner Adam Silver for some time. So the 2025 All Star Game will feature a 14 3-game, one night tournament with 3 teams consisting of 8 All Stars each. And the 4th team will be the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge. And for those games to be won, you have to reach 40 points. So it's going to be like, instead of 21, 40. So how do you feel about just getting it to 40 and then moving forward? And does that sound like something you would be interested in for All-Star game?
I mean, they got to do something. You know, every year it's getting worse. No one wants to even tune in. It's just a whole bunch of waste of time, basically. Everyone's there to watch the 3-point shootout now. Like, basically, the dunk contest is trash. All-Star game is just a bunch of do a bunch of tricks that no one wants to see. Oh, half-court shot again and again and again and again. Like, I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, anything is an improvement to what's going on with the product with the All-Star game. So it's definitely a right step in the correct direction. I just hope that the players will be on board. Like, they are looking like they're on board with the Cup. It looks like they're liking it. So this
might does. It might be
else,
the answer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that I like.
I don't feel about it either. What do you like? I don't know. It sounds cool to me. I know a lot of people like KD and I forget who else have been saying, you know, it's dumb, the setup. But I mean, it needed some change. Like you said, like Adam Silver has been pitching for years. It's just people goofing off. So if you want something that you want to watch, it has to be competitive. And with this way, with the Rising Stars thing, I think that's what's going to make it the most competitive. Because you're going to have all these All-Stars who are already proven. And you're going to have these Rising Stars trying to prove themselves. So it could be a pretty good format. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. The 40-point thing was kind of weird to me initially, but then when you think about it, you can't have them play a full game and then another full game and another full game and another full game. So we'll see how this bodes. Hopefully it goes well for the NBA. They're obviously getting more looks from the Cup itself, and the Cup has been going pretty well. There hasn't been really any issues with the Cup aside from the first year where everybody's like, why? But now it just seems like everybody's more into it. The players are more into it. And of course, with these Rising Stars trying to prove themselves, these veterans or all-stars are going to be more into it, trying to shut down the younger stars. So it seems like a good idea. We'll just have to wait and see when it happens.
Definitely. But plan in place, yeah.
Yeah, well, last time we saw Trae Young, he was playing the villain at Madison Square Garden, but that kind of thing don't fly around here in San Antonio, does it?
Oh, man. Yesterday, I'm not sure if y'all are into what's going on with the NBA, but the Spurs had a game against the Hawks at the AT&T. Oh, now I'm sorry. Frostbank.
Yeah.
Frostbank.
I almost said that.
And then, it was it was my first game. I never seen Wemby. I wanted to be like, man, just how tall this guy is. I want to see, like, can he really touch the ceiling? I want to see, right?
Can he really touch the ceiling?
It's my first game back in a long time. I haven't been to a Spurs game. I don't even remember the last time. Probably when I went to go see Ginobili retire. That was probably it. But
Manu.
We'll see how this team was going to go against a good coach. They've been well played. Hawks made it to almost the finals in the Cup. So, you know, they're good. They have Trae Young. They have Capella. They have good players, good role players. But it was a back-and-forth fight yesterday. It was a spectacular game. Spurs came out good, had a good first quarter, but then they fell apart in the second quarter. where the Hawks went on like an 8-0 run, 9-0 run, and they started to just drop back and looked like they were just gonna get blown out. But at the end of the second quarter, Wemby had a 3-point play, and then they stole the ball in the inbound, and Vassell made another 3-pointer right at regulation. So they had a 6-point swing right at the end of the beginning of halftime. I mean, so they cut the lead to 6 during halftime. Third quarter comes around, and Spurs then again struggling, trying to just keep up with the pace that Trae Young is. It's hard to contain him, but I think Wemby did a good job as far as helping his teammates contain Trae Young. That guy's always explosive. He was just getting in the paint, sliding through, slicing through defenders, just coming and laying up and just shooting threes when he was open. And it was really hard to contain him. I think Castle did a good job, more or less. Castle was having a lot of turnovers for some reason. But on defensively, he was doing well. And of course, Wemby was just Wemby, This guy was just going off every quarter. Some of the team wanted to help. Chris Paul shot some good twos. And at the fourth quarter, Hawks tried to cut it. And it was going to look like go into overtime if Chris Paul, if they were going to not make that 3 at the end, but Chris Paul made that 3. Trae Young almost had a chance to win the game, but missed over a Wemby contest. And
that was beautiful.
I guess I can bring up the posterized of Wemby because it kind of plays into what happened afterwards. I forgot his name, but his last name's Hunter on the Hawks. Posterized Wemby at the end of the fourth quarter. And staring him down like, oh, don't mess with me. And I think they gave him a tech because Chris Paul was like, hey, you gotta call tech, man, you gotta call tech.
Wemby wasn't having none of that.
And then that just, you don't want to do that to Wemby. He's gonna call his UFO buddies, and they're gonna go to town.
UFO buddies.
They're gonna go in, man. So fourth quarter, Trae Young misses the shot, going to overtime. And then Wemby just scores 10 straight in the overtime. Can't stop him. Spurs end up getting that W, hard-fought victory. Everyone played well. Sometimes it doesn't show in the stats, but I know they were out there to try to win that game.
Wemby did score 10 straight, but 8 of them were in overtime. The other 2 were in the fourth quarter.
It was all crazy, man. Too fast.
Too fast. Wemby put up 42 points without even scoring in the third. And he did his best NBA Street impression with the back to Papa alley-oop he pulled off. Devin Vassell said after the game, he said, quote, "I sat there and I was like, there's no way." Then obviously he throws it off the glass. Are we playing in our backyard, or are we playing in the NBA? And
you need to be on NBA Street. NBA Street Play 2. He should have been on that game. Yeah.
And obviously the Spurs went on to win it, 133-126 in overtime. Wemby accounted obviously for 18 points, or for 8 points in the overtime with their last 13 points. Moving forward from that, he became the first NBA player to make 7 3-pointers while totaling 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks in the same game, joining Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns as the only player this century to rack up 60 points, 10 assists, 10 blocks in a 2-game span. Now San Antonio goes. Oh, you didn't know that? No, that's a good one. That's a good little snippet of information right there. San Antonio goes on to face Portland tomorrow before they hit the road for their next 4. After that, they'll go against Philly on Monday, and they'll hit Dunk the Halls next on Christmas Day against the Knicks, who actually got eliminated by the Hawks in that cup.
Yeah, Knicks are trash.
I wouldn't say
They be trash.
But speaking of holiday matchups, I didn't realize this until you pointed it out. The teams that play tomorrow are the same 4 teams that are going to play during Christmas. Now tomorrow, at noon on NBC and Peacock. The Texans go head with the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs are on the verge of activating Hollywood Brown right now off IR to play in tomorrow's game unless he has any setbacks per ESPN. They cleared a roster spot for Brown earlier this week, releasing Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was then picked up by New Orleans. Mahomes was also cleared to play yesterday, and he will take the field with Brown tomorrow. There will also be an alternate Madden broadcast on Peacock. The Madden Altcast will feature Madden 25 graphics, route trees, player cards, button icons over receivers, and player ratings with live action Ocho Cinco changing player ratings at that. At the time of the game, there's going to be animations of touchdown celebrations that will be Madden instead of live action. Paul Burmeister will be on play-by-play with Madden NFL expert Ben Kurt and six-time Pro Bowler Ocho Cinco on commentary. Chad Ocho Cinco, like I said, will be a real-time player rating adjuster as he is the Madden's ratings ambassador. So he'll be adjusting depending on what happens during the game.
Man, that's a lot to take in right there, man. A lot of football coming your way, but I just don't understand why they have the Texans, Ravens, Steelers, and Chiefs playing 2 games in like 4 days. It's crazy. Like they couldn't pick another team. Did Netflix have favorite teams that they? I don't know. I don't know.
Apparently,
I don't know what's going on, man. I feel bad. That second game that they're going to play, someone could get hurt. Like, they got to be rested. Mahomes could probably get hurt the second game. He probably get hurt the first game. I don't even know why he's playing. I mean, I think it's because they know that the Chiefs need that first seed if they're going to have a chance.
Yeah.
They're not a good team this year. Let's face it. Let's be honest. They're not a good team this year. They're just getting.
Hey, all that matters is wins.
Yeah, but if an extra game in the playoffs is not beneficial for the Chiefs, especially how they've been winning games. And I don't know if they can pull it off if they have to play a wild card game, a division game, and a championship game. So I know how important that game is. That's why Mahomes is probably playing in the first place while having that injury. So I think the Texans will win that game regardless. I think they're more hungry. I think Texans defense is going to contain a lot of the Chiefs offense because it's not that good right now. And Hollywood Brown, he may come back, but he's probably gonna be rusty as hell anyway. So we'll see how that goes. I got Texans winning that game by a field goal or by a touchdown. And as far as the other game, the Steelers and the Ravens, it's going to be a defensive battle on that one. It's always a hard grit battle. Lamar, for some reason, plays so bad against Pittsburgh, which I don't need because I'm in the semifinals right now in the fantasy, and I need him to go, have at least 20 or something to pull up 20 on that. But he's never
made it to the playoffs and only scored like 80-something points last week.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. Like, there has to be something where Lamar has to get finally a good game against them because he's never even had a rushing touchdown against the Steelers in his whole career. So
I didn't even know that. That's wild.
He's due. That's pretty much what I'm saying. He's he needs that to happen during my time of need. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as the Madden stream, that sounds pretty cool, man. I didn't know they were doing that. I feel like as time goes by, they're going to incorporate more technology in the game aspect with real life sports to draw in not only a younger audience, but to see who else is going to be tagging along and being interested. It's going to create a lot of more, opportunity for people to be in either the job aspect of that or the people that want to be fans and bring them together. But what's hilarious? I heard about the Jets owner did not want to sign Jerry Jeudy because his man was too low.
They didn't see. They didn't. They still haven't verified that. But if that's true, oh my god, bro! Because his kid, right? His kid was the one that told him about the Madden rating.
I was like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it's the Jets. Man. It's the Jets.
Well, how are you gonna let your kid feel like he has some pull with your team? Like
he's out of touch. Like they need to just sell that team to someone else that can manage it. But then again, it's the Jets. Like, who wants to buy that? You know, it's like.
Oh man, that's messed up. Obviously, like you said, Saturday night's doubleheader will culminate with Pittsburgh and Baltimore on Fox. And Christmas Day, it'll be reversed with Pittsburgh instead going to meet Kansas City and Baltimore facing Houston. The Houston game will be at 3:30, and the Chiefs will play at noon. It's going to be a tough week for the Texans, who I believe it's like 3 games in 10 days, if I'm not mistaken.
It's crazy. They might as well just like all hit Mahomes and get suspended. Like, you know,
hey, they did hurt somebody else in the last game.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was. He's still in the hospital. He's moving. I can't remember whose name it was. And I was just looking at it earlier, but
he
that's
moved.
Unfortunate. That one didn't seem as bad as the Al-Shaair one, because he was just already going for it. Homeboy just put down his head at the same time, and they just clashed, and it was an ugly one. He said, of course, he didn't mean to hurt anybody. You know, it wasn't intentional. It's too bad when you see someone like that. He spent like 11 minutes on field, dude. Like, came back to commercial every time he was still on the field. So it's good to know that he's doing well and there's movement.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
But as we talk about football, let's get into the college football playoffs, which kick off today. The 12-team college football playoffs kicks off tonight, as Indiana and Notre Dame battle it out at 7 p.m. on ABC and ESPN. Winner will go on to face Georgia. Who do you got in this one?
I
got Fighting Irish, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's always nice to see new teams, or teams that you really don't expect to win, especially when it's playoffs. You just think that, it's that team, they're gonna win, no problem. I mean, Notre Dame's, they're ranked 7 for a reason, but then again, it's playoffs, right? You can't really count anybody out. Playoffs, but Indiana, I've heard good things about the team. I really haven't seen their games, but they're a team that really no one expected them to do so well to get into the playoffs. Either way, Georgia's gonna beat either team, so. I just think it'll probably be.
They are. They are. I mean, if Notre Dame passes, they have a chance, but I don't know. I think Georgia wins that one.
Yeah, I think at the end of that bracket, it's going to be Boise State versus Georgia in the Capital One Bowl. I got to go for my boy Boise, but I'm digressing. Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame wins.
Tomorrow's gonna have a triple header, which kicks off with SMU and Penn State at 11 a.m. on TNT and Max. Winner meets Boise, as you were talking about in the Fiesta Bowl. Followed by Texas and Clemson on the same network as they fight it out to face Arizona State at the Peach Bowl. And finally, we have Ohio and Tennessee going prime time at 7 on ABC and ESPN to see who advances to the quarterfinals to clash with number 1 Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Now, who do you have when it comes to Penn State and SMU? You still got SMU, you think?
I mean, everybody wants to see SMU win. No one expects them to be there. All the experts were writing them off. They're basically a Cinderella story at this point. So I'm gonna go with SMU. It would be nice to see, but I don't think it's gonna go down that way. Yeah, I like Penn State and all, but everyone likes a good story that SMU's doing right now. especially when they took the spot over Bama. So you got to go for them, man. You got to go for the team that kicked out Bama.
Yeah, definitely. I could see Penn State winning this one, going on to meet Boise, but I think Boise will end up getting past Penn State. And then, what do you think about Texas and Clemson? I'm going Texas all the way.
Yeah, I'm biased as hell, so it's gonna be
I'm biased as hell.
Texas gonna win that one. Clemson's not gonna be a pushover though, so Longhorns they better not take them lightly. This is the playoffs. This anything can happen. I've seen Texas, just not execute. So they gotta make sure that every team that they play is serious. This is no joke. To get to the finals, they're probably going to rematch Georgia if that happens. If they both make it to the finals.
Yeah. So once they meet Arizona State, you really think they're gonna? I mean, they have a chance against Arizona State, no doubt. But I don't know. I think I might go for them against Arizona State.
Longhorns?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, anybody. I'm going for the Longhorns. I mean, if they play the Longhorns, I'll play the Longhorns. Texas plays Texas. I'm going for Texas.
Whoever wins, Texas, man.
Oh, they lost. Well, I'm still going for them.
What about Ohio and Tennessee?
That's a worthless bracket. No one cares about those teams, man. They're just there to fill up some space. Ohio hasn't won anything. Their Super Bowl is always against Michigan. They're not, so no one really cares what they do after that. So, and then Tennessee, I always mistake them for the Longhorns because they've got that big T. They got that big T, and I'm like, oh, it's Texas. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's not.
So, someone did that not that long ago on Facebook. I guess the people at Tennessee were kneeling and they weren't for it, so they're talking crap. And in the description it said Texas, and I was like, that's not Texas. I already knew as soon as I saw it. I was like, no, that's not Texas. That's the Volts.
For real, dude. They got to tighten up. That's what they got.
Good one. But if I would say Tennessee and Ohio both got an equal chance at this one. But whoever goes on is gonna lose to Oregon.
Oh, I forgot all about Oregon, dude. How did I forget about Oregon? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, they got that bye, so whoever wins this one meets Oregon at the Rose Bowl. And I don't think anybody's going to pass up Oregon.
I heard Bo Nix is coming back to play for the Ducks. That's what I heard.
He's finally ramping it up, though. Got to give him credit.
They did blow the game last night, though. So that's unfortunate. But good win for the Chargers. That gives them a 97% chance to be in the playoffs now with that win over the Broncos last night.
Hey, and the Cowboys still got 1%.
Oh, and I'm betting big money on that. They
got to win to keep that 1%.
I think who they play next? The Tampa Bay. They probably lose that.
Oh, speaking of Cowboys, you saw the whole thing with Micah Parsons?
Nah, man. What happened?
Well, obviously his contract's coming up. He was talking about the money he's gonna get. Obviously, all these media personnel are poking and prodding, trying to figure things out, see how much money he's gonna take, things like that. And Micah Parsons actually said, he'll take less just to be surrounded by better guys.
Whoa, he said that?
And a championship team, yeah.
That's messed up. Hey, I don't blame him though, dude. They've taken too long with this whole all-in phase that they're doing over there in Cowboys. I'm not sure when they went all in because I missed that. I don't know when they did that. So if Michael wants to leave, that's fine. Just don't go to a division rival, dude. Don't pull a Saquon.
Well, he was talking about staying there, so I mean, he was talking about because they were talking about the cap space is so low, and would he like to be one of the highest paid defensive players? And he said, yeah, it would be nice. but I'd rather take less money and be surrounded by a championship team.
Well, they better start doing something.
For real, that's what I was thinking.
They better start doing something.
They better start being a championship team.
They're all like, "Yeah, we got you," and then they resign Zeke. That's all they do. It's like,
and then they sign.
I'm like, "Yeah, we got you, dude. Yeah." They sign like some free agent that's been like out of the league for 2 years, and like, dude, like, come on, man. It's tiring trying to be a Cowboys fan. You know, I don't lose sleep over it anymore, though. I'm doing better, but
sometimes
the nightmares come. And
the nightmares come. But I was wondering the other day because that came up, and I told Ashley, I was like, well, they better start winning some championships or something. And she's like, when's the last time they won? It was like 94 or 95, right?
Yeah, I think it was 95.
Damn, it's about to be 20 years, bro. Shoo.
What? It's been way longer than 20 years. What are you talking about?
Has it? It's been longer.
27, 28, 29. We hitting 30, dude. Already.
Sorry, I forget. I'm old. I forget.
Dang, dude. Like the last time they won it, the Oilers were still around, dude. That's how.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Good stuff, right? Right there.
Good stuff, right?
Warren Moon. Anyway, as we're talking about football, let's get into some football. Obviously, I'm talking about ones you take with your feet. FIFA and Netflix just agreed to a deal for the 2027 and 31 Women's World Cup. The 2027 Cup will be hosted in Brazil, and the 2031 Cup has still yet to be determined. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, said, quote, "This agreement sends a strong message about the real value of FIFA Women's World Cup and the global women's game. FIFA and Netflix partnering together makes this a truly historic day for broadcasting and for women's football," end quote. So, I mean, the women has been the main focus for a while when it comes to the U.S. soccer teams, because the women are the ones who are winning the championships, not the men. And I mean,
hard.
rightfully,
it's really hard. They got Messi over there, dude.
True that. But I mean, he's right. You know, their value is obviously skyrocketing for a while now, and this Netflix deal is going to be huge for the World Cup, seeing as, you know, Netflix is all over the world. You don't have to try and make a deal with another network or this network or that network in another region. Instead, you're just dealing with Netflix, and it distributes everywhere. So this is great for the Women's World Cup. I'm really happy that the women are finally getting their flowers, as people say. And I'm excited to see what happens, what Netflix has in store for this World Cup.
Well, they better make sure we can see it, though. That's all I'm saying.
I saw a video the other day that was like raw when it hits Netflix, and it showed Cody Rhodes coming out, and then it started buffering, and it was the Nintendo 64 No Mercy graphics of Cody Rhodes.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Wow.
But
I mean, if you want to watch the women's soccer, I mean, why would you put it on Netflix? No one's gonna watch it, dude. Like,
nobody's gonna get to watch it.
Anyway, put it on something else.
Oh man. Moving on though, since we're talking about the U.S. women's soccer team, we'll talk about who we've covered many times, Trinity Rodman. She previously commented on her relationship with Father Dennis Rodman when she first entered the spotlight, saying that her mother raised her and praised her mom for her grit. On Alex Cooper's podcast entitled Call Her Daddy, Trinity reiterated saying, quote, "He's not a dad, maybe by blood, but nothing else," end quote. Dennis Rodman then responded, via Instagram saying, quote, "I'm sorry, I wasn't the dad you wanted me to be. I will try even when it's difficult and it takes a long time. I'm always here and tell you all the time rather than it's your voice or voicemail how proud I am. I always had one wish, and it was I wish my kids would call me and come see me. Hopefully one day I can get that." End quote. Now their relationship has been strained for some time. I believe Trinity's mom and Dennis actually divorced back in like 2013, 2012, around there. And Dennis has been open about, his struggles with his kids because he stayed in the spotlight. He was always out. We saw him back in the day. He was always at the clubs, things like that.
Right.
So hopefully they mend fences. Trinity did go on to say a lot more, like when he showed up at one of her games unannounced, and she was pretty angry, kind of like, "You stole this moment from me," type deal. But if anybody wants to check that out, go ahead and check out that Call Her Daddy podcast from Alex Cooper, excuse me. And it's pretty heavy stuff, but if you want to know more about Trinity and her upcoming to the women's soccer team, I would recommend you check that out. Now, from a pretty somber note to pretty exciting note, in other words, I guess, with this action-packed weekend, we have a lot of stuff going on, and not to mention one of the most anticipated rematches tomorrow, as Tyson Fury looks to redeem the first loss of his career against Alexander Usyk. Fury said, "No more funny business. He's going to take this bout more seriously. But can he survive Usyk's deadly hands? Usyk looks to prove his victory wasn't a fluke and that he's that guy."
I got Usyk winning this. I think he's just got better. He was able to be in the ring with Fury, so he learned him a lot more too. Fury, who knows what Fury's going to come. If he's going to try, even though he said he was trying last time, maybe he's going to win. But I think he's just getting older, and I think he's just overconfident naturally. I don't know why he's like that. Probably because, I
don't know why he's like that.
Probably because he's really, really good, right? But I think Usyk did humble him a little bit with that win on him. It's going to be very interesting to see which Tyson Fury we're going to see, but I already know we're going to see the best Usyk version. To this day, he's going to probably be the best he's ever been, and he's going to probably win this fight. I think he might knock him out. I'm hoping knockout, maybe 8th or 9th round.
I see a knockdown, but I think it's going to go the distance.
Yeah. If they're going to try to sell the fight right, they're going to probably do a whole trilogy and give this fight to Fury and make more money. But that's if it's a close fight. They'll probably give it to Fury.
Storyline.
Yeah. If it's close, they'll probably give it to Fury to create that trilogy. So Usyk has to just put the pedal to the metal and just, leave it out of the judge's hands completely.
Their undercard is a little underwhelming after I looked at it. I haven't been trying to look through it because I don't know any of them peoples, The only person I knew was the Madrimov Barachan, and that fight got changed to Ishmael Davis is fighting Barachan now, or now Madrimov's fighting who else?
Madrimov, Virgil, I think.
Is that what it was?
That's
I was seeing some rumors about Lomachenko saying that he was going to retire, but they're just rumors. There's nothing confirmed just yet.
When you retire in boxing, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
That doesn't mean anything anymore. That's like wrestling retiring.
That means they just wrote you off real quick for a little bit, and then you're gonna come back.
Speaking of retiring from wrestling, we're gonna get back to that because something about Logan Paul, who said he was retiring, but we'll come back to that. Before we get into that, we'll talk about the Covington fight. Uh, Kobe Covington has been, a mainstay of the UFC welterweight rankings for some time, but it seems like this could be a new era of welterweights, and Joaquin Buckley is at the forefront of that change. Buckley garnered a victory over former interim champ Covington via TKO in the fourth round due to a gnarly cut over Kobe's right eye.
Gnarly, gnarly. Yeah.
Totally.
Man, I think Covington might be done. I mean, he has some good wars with Usman. I can't believe I forgot his name. Usman. He has some good wars with him. He's fought Masvidal. He was ragdolling a lot of people, but I think his time's up. His past his prime. These young up and coming fighters are just better than him. Edwards beat him like nothing when he had that title fight. In the fight game, it's in MMA especially. It's a young man's game, and there's a lot of fighters that are past their prime trying to just keep up with these fighters, and
still trying to hold on.
It's not really being anything positive, and they're just getting more brain damage, at the end of the day.
You're not wrong. I think his last four, he's only been like 1-3, and then the last time he won was 2 years ago against Masvidal.
Yeah. He's just he talks a lot of trash. He tries to be in the spotlight by being controversial. He probably has a home in like politics, maybe, or wrestling, professional wrestling, because of his mouthpiece, but he's not. He's just declining in MMA. He's not that once fighter that can just keep going at you and do damage. These other fighters are evolving. They're faster. They're stronger, younger, and they focus on MMA more than just talking trash. And I used to be a Covington fan, big time. I still am, but I think it's time for him to just leave that spotlight and give it up to the next people, the Joaquin Buckleys, the Ian Machados, the Rakov, that guy that beat that guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, Rakov.
The guy that beat recently.
I don't know how to.
They're the next welterweight. They're the next welterweight people that need to take the spotlight. And it's so bad. The welterweight division is probably the worst division in the UFC. They only fight like once or twice a year, and they're always pulling out of fights. Bilal Muhammad won the fight against Leon Edwards like a decade ago, and he still hasn't defended his title. It's so bad. He's just holding that title for hostage right now, and we need people like Buckley and Machado, active welterweights, to just go in there and start defending it. It used to be such a great division when GSP was the champ. GSP would defend it all the time and put in exciting fights. Never pull out of fights. Diaz fight. He would fight Thiago Alves. He fought Dan Hardy. He fought Matt Hughes. But nowadays, welterweight, man, it's sad what it looks like. It's so boring on the welterweight. I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it. It's the most boring division because no one fights. No one fights.
Now, on the topic of people who don't fight, and the UFC, former UFC fighter Conor McGregor is back in the news. I mean, it is about time we call him a former fighter, right? Or, I don't know.
Former UFC competitor.
Yeah. But anyway, McGregor says that he intends to delay his return to MMA and agree to a fight with Logan Paul in an exhibition boxing match. Now, McGregor hasn't fought since breaking his leg in 2021 and pulled out of his fight with Michael Chandler at 303 due to an injured foot. McGregor said they're in preliminary agreements for a fight in India, which he has already agreed to.
Just more publicity. He's never going to fight ever again.
He needs the money.
He's not going to come into the spotlight. He's not going to do any of that. I doubt he needs the money either. I mean,
nah, he needs the money after he lost that case.
I don't think he needs the money.
I'm sure he does.
He's got.
Why else would he do this?
He's got too many sponsorships and royalties and blah blah blah.
He lost them all.
He's not gonna fight. If he does, that'll be crazy. But I don't think Dana's even gonna let it happen. if he's still under contract with the UFC. He's just trying to keep his name out there. I don't know why. He teased so long of fighting Chandler, it never happened. He teased so long of a trilogy fight with Diaz, never happened. He said he was going to come back and just take over, and never happened. He's on streaming, smoking, and drinking all the time. I don't know, man. If he fights Logan Paul, yeah, cool. Or Jake Paul, one of the two.
One of the two. I mean,
we'll see.
I think this is a cash grab for him, to be honest. Conor McGregor lost that whole case in court, lost a bunch of sponsors, lost a bunch of royalties, all kinds of stuff. So now he's got to pay this lady, and then what is he going to have left after that, especially with everything starting to dry up? So I think this is just a cash grab for him, and it probably will happen. Now, Logan Paul, that was quite odd to hear Logan Paul rather than Jake. Now that Jake's like more active than Logan, and the thing with Logan though, he just recently tried to say that he retired from wrestling, and he wasn't doing that anymore. So I thought maybe he's going back to boxing. Maybe he's trying to be a prize fighter again. So this and that and the other, but we ended up seeing the Raw on Netflix kickoff, where they had a kickoff show promoting the Netflix move to January 6th, along with the upcoming matches teased with CM Punk versus Seth Rollins slated for the first episode, as well as tribal combat between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns for the Uafala, along with the title of Tribal Chief. Liv versus Rhea for the title is going to be part of the show as well. And then Logan Paul came out and announced that he is signed with Raw, and he's coming for the World Heavyweight Championship, which, Gunther came out, turned down, said, he's going to be dominant, whatever. So, but the best thing I got to say about that kickoff would have to be Kevin Owens walking around with that Winged Eagle Championship and covering up Cody Rhodes' picture at WWE headquarters with his own photo.
That was great.
But Logan Paul, man, he just said he retired. Like we said, retiring and not only fighting but wrestling is just like, it means nothing.
yeah. Shakur Stevenson did it. Teofimo did it. Who else did? I know someone else did it.
A lot of people did it.
I'm retired. Okay, I'm back.
You know what? I want to fight again.
You know what? Hey, scratch that. But it's nice to see him back. He's a good wrestler, I'll admit. He does put a show on, so it's interesting to see him come back. Probably because Netflix, they want him to be on there. So we'll see what happens.
Well, he did even bring up Conor McGregor's name when he was there, saying, everybody wants a piece of what did he say? It was basically like, the prize money for fighting Logan Paul and stuff.
Right.
Or the Paul brothers. He wants that rub is basically what he was trying to say. So I thought that was hilarious. Hopefully that pours more fuel on the fire and we do see this fight. And it'll probably end up being on Netflix too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But someone who was also, they weren't teased on the kickoff show, but another big name we can see during the Netflix debut wasn't announced and was instead teased on Raw this week. Fans got excited when an O appeared on screen, and but then a slash went through it, and that slash obviously means it's a zero, and who are zeros synonymous with? They're not synonymous with Penta, El Cero Miedo himself, former TNA Impact World Champ, former ROH, AAA, MLW, AEW Tag Champ, and former Lucha Underground Champ, Pentagon. How do you feel about Pentagon finally making his jump to WWE?
Oh, I thought it was the Zodiac Killer. It's Penta. It's Penta.
God.
Oh, it's Penta.
That's a T through the O.
oh, wait, it's V for Vendetta guy. That's what it was. One of it was Penta. Hey, Hey, if WWE does this right, he could be a major player in the mid card, maybe even the heavyweight contention. He has the skills, but does he really have the mic skills, which WWE really leans on a lot for you to get to that next level? Is to be good on the mic as well. I really haven't had a chance to see if he have mic skills. He probably says that chant and that's it, right? But if he's in WWE, if he's in WWE,
Uh,
he's gonna have to work on mic skills, or because if he's gonna be in storylines, actually in depth storylines now. So I'm pretty sure he's looking forward to it. It's another chapter in his wrestling career, and probably his dream job to make it to the WWE. And I could see him just feuding with Rey Mysterio from the get go. That'd be cool. Or Andrade, or someone like the New Day. It's the possibilities are endless. He can come in there and just make an impact from the get go. It's exciting to see. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see what's going to happen, how they're going to use him, how they're going to utilize, especially in a new era of WWE where they really don't really use lucha wrestlers that well. We'll see how it goes.
I feel like they've been doing a little better featuring luchadors and featuring different styles now. Before, like you said, they really weren't good at featuring a lot, but now it seems a little more serious, a little less playful. No more Mexicools or none of that. but I would like to see what they're gonna do with him and Phoenix whenever he makes his way to WWE, because he's still in contract with AEW. They added some time when he got hurt when Luchasaurus broke that arm. But yeah, I can see him flourishing in WWE. Penta does have pretty decent mic skills, going off of his run in TNA or Impact at the time. When he became Impact champion. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously, the little catchphrase is gonna be huge, and
that's gonna be good. I can't wait to see that. I just want to see how he's gonna debut. Like, is he just gonna come out? Is he gonna have a match out of nowhere? Like, surprise.
That's what I'm wondering too. Is he gonna attack somebody? We'll have to wait and see. I would assume this is gonna be held off for the Raw on Netflix, since they're trying to stack that whole card. That way people tune in. But
so they're gonna like say what's gonna happen. They had the zero thing, and then they said like on Netflix, or what is it, like they saying it's gonna happen, or are they just teasing it for now and you don't know when it's gonna happen? So it can happen to Rumble maybe, like
Yeah, could, but the Rumble's still. When's the Rumble? It's in February this year, isn't it?
It is? Oh.
I think so. I think it's like on the 1st or 2nd. Or I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure it's in February this year. But another talent that is very familiar with Penta made their comeback at TNA's Final Resolution. As Jordynne Grace looked to put away Rosemary, the count was interrupted and Grace was attacked by a hooded figure who was revealed to be Tessa Blanchard. The daughter of famous Four Horseman Tully Blanchard left the company in 2020 during COVID on a bad terms, holding the Impact World Championship hostage and refusing to send in promos, go to tapings, or drop the title. The two sides have now mended fences, and Tessa's getting her second shot. How do you feel about Tessa being back in the business once again?
I mean, it's only going to be positive for everyone involved. She's a really good wrestler. It sucks that what happened, but I'm glad that they were able to get over that, overcome those hardships and just problems, and it's going to be all for the better. Is this a first step into WWE lineage? We'll see. But first step, she's back, and I think this is a major step in her career.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her back. Things unfortunately didn't go well for her not only during COVID, but there was also some things that came out about her, some comments she made towards other talents, and basically being a bully backstage is what they were trying to imply. And obviously her and those wrestlers mended fences as well, because they've posted pictures, the past is past, things like that. So it's good to see that she's mending fences. Obviously, she's came up in the business. She was young when she started getting big. When you're young and you have that kind of pull, you're not fully matured or grown yet. And you say things that you normally wouldn't say when you're fully matured, and
Right.
you know better. So it takes people time to grow in different ways, and it just unfortunately took her time to grow in the spotlight, and that's what gave her kind of a bad rap. But now that she's older, she matured, she understands the error of her ways. I'm excited to see her back. She's a great wrestler, obviously. Probably inherited it from her dad, and probably trained with her dad as well. So I'm excited to see her back in the fold. Like you said, this could be the start of her going to WWE, which I would be all for. I thought she was going to go a while ago, and it never happened, unfortunately, which could have been, the whole bully thing that was going on at the time.
Right.
And hopefully, she does actually see the error of her ways, and she's not just saying things and then we lose her again. But TNA also has talent that's leaving. Rhino, Kushida, and Trent Seven and Jade Chung have just parted ways recently after that New Year's um, final resolution, I think is what they called it. Yeah, final resolution. Excuse me. They've already parted ways. Rhino teased, this is my last match. Please, everybody, come out. I'm wondering if this is his last, because he just said in TNA. I'm wondering if he's going up to WWE for one last run. Kushida used to be in WWE for a short stint on NXT. Didn't really do much there. He kind of fell flat with his gimmick. Trent Seven was with Mustache Mountain, him and Tyler Bate. Tyler Bates now doing his thing in NXT still. So maybe they rekindle their relationship and their tag team again. But I don't know. I see Trent Seven going to AEW rather than WWE. Just like Kushida, I could see him going to AEW rather than WWE. Rhino's at the end of his career, so I just see him going and having his last run in WWE. But he is considerate, and he could just end up going to AEW to do the favors for everybody there and put them over. But also, Mike Bailey, Jordan Grace, and Josh Alexander are all rumored to leave shortly as well. I see Mike Bailey making his way to AEW, while Josh Alexander and Jordan Grace end up in WWE. Now, Mike Bailey, I'm not that much of a fan of, but a lot of people love Mike Bailey. I could see him making a case for going to NXT, but I don't see him going to the main roster. Jordan Grace and Josh Alexander are main roster talent. On top of that, we got AJ Francis, the former Top Dollar. His contract is coming to an end, but I don't see him making his way back to WWE. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But he has bloomed over there in TNA. I like a lot of his stuff in TNA, and the guy is not tripping over ropes anymore and
Right.
and volleying. So he's looking a lot better now. I could see him making his way to AEW more than I could see it to WWE. And also, SDL's contract is also set to expire at the end of this year. Steph DeLander has been a mainstay over there in TNA for quite some time after leaving WWE NXT, where she used to be Persia Parada. She had a couple stints in AEW where she just had a few matches and that was it. But I could see her going to AEW. I'd rather see her back in a WWE ring, though. But a lot of these talents are some good people to pick up. I can see Tony Khan trying to sign a lot of these people. We'll just have to wait and see where they end up, or if they stay with TNA, which I think is kind of doubtful. They had problems with what was his name? Scott Dillamore, who used to run TNA, and then he got pretty much kicked out of the office, and everybody was up in arms saying they wanted to leave, all that, but they still went there. They still went to work and did what they had to do, and now their contracts are coming up. So I really hope I see Josh Alexander in WWE, though. I love me some Josh Alexander. What they can do with him and Ethan Page would be phenomenal, and I would love to see it happen in a bigger stage rather than, well, TNA. I feel like I'm insulting them because they're a smaller stage, but that is exactly what they are. And I think Josh Alexander and Ethan Page have something to prove on a grander stage.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's a really good era going on with WWE with the whole Netflix transition, the Saturday Night Main Event being revived. Who's to say they're going to make another show for NXT or another show altogether? There's a lot of opportunity for these wrestlers that want to be in the big spotlight and deserve to be in the big spotlight. And I think with NXT being so well managed by Shawn Michaels, I think he's going to get people that he knows can get to the next level. He brought in Ethan Page already. Trick Williams is doing phenomenal. Like you said, Josh Alexander is probably the next stepping stone. It would be NXT, then probably get to WWE. But I think it's all. I don't even think NXT is developmental anymore. I think they're being better than that now. Let's see what happens. I mean, with Netflix and all that, the possibilities are endless as far as how many shows can WWE produce per week. They could probably make a show every day.
They have all kinds of shows. I mean, they have that new LFG. I forget what it stands for, but obviously it sounds like Let's Effing Go. But it's like a Tough Enough type deal, a competition show. And Evander Holyfield's son is actually a part of that. Now that you reminded me of all the shows they run. But
yeah, it's like the Dana White's Contender Series. Like they can make one for WWE where the Contender people that are trying to get into the business, they probably could make a lot of viewership on that. People want to see stuff like that. I would want to see stuff like that.
Kind of like Ultimate Fighter almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then have Triple H do it like he did back then. Take a bump. Take a bump.
Talk crap about Goldberg again.
take a bump.
That was great. Oh man. Yeah, I'm excited to see what goes on with WWE as they continue to grow even more. And the product is just getting better now. It has been at a low the past couple years, and they're finally picking it back up. Storylines are being featured more often again. And things just seem to be getting better for them. I'm excited to see what happens once they make that move to Netflix. I want to see that NXT LFG or the WWE LFG thing, that competition show, but I don't even know where it airs, so I need to go back and look that up. It's probably like on the Roku channel, like they did that other one that they did with like the kind of proving ground one. But other than that, that's all we have for you today, folks, and we'd like to thank you all for tuning in. We wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. We're excited to be here with you and, indulge in the holiday festivities. So thank you all for tuning in.
Be safe out there, though. Don't get carried away. If you win your fantasy league, don't be blowing your money on something silly,
Mike?
Hey, but good luck for everyone in the fantasy. It's semifinals coming up this week. Good luck to everybody out there. It's good to be back on the show. We'll have a lot more in store for y'all. Just not too sure how the schedule's going to be because I do have to go back to work next week on Friday. So we'll keep y'all updated.
All right. Thank you, Mike, for showing up today. And thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you. Hope y'all have a great holiday.
Later.